Good day, and thank you for watching. If you're a tenant in California and your landlord offers you money to move out, you may be dealing with something called cash for keys. And while it may sound simple, money in exchange for moving out, there are important things you need to understand before you agree. Because once you accept, your rights and your situation can change quickly. Let's start with the basics. Cash for keys is a voluntary agreement. It means the landlord is offering you money to vacate the unit, usually to avoid going through the formal eviction process. Now here's the key. Understanding your rights is essential for a fair agreement. This is not a court order. You are not required to accept it. It is an offer, and you have the right to evaluate it. Here's where many tenants make a mistake. They feel pressured to accept immediately. They think they have no choice, or they believe the offer will disappear if they don't act quickly. But this is a decision that should be made carefully. Now let's talk about why landlords make these offers. The process of eviction can take a lot of time. They can involve court proceedings, delays, and uncertainty. A cash for keys agreement can provide a faster resolution for both sides. But please remember that the specific terms of the agreement really matter. Now let's talk about what should be included in the agreement. The amount of money being offered, the date you are expected to move out, the condition in which the unit should be left, and any agreements about your security deposit. These details should be clear and in writing. Here's where many problems arise. Verbal agreements, unclear terms, or assumptions about what was agreed. Be wary of simple verbal agreements. Watch out for any unclear terms or assumptions about what was agreed. That's why documentation is critical. Now let's talk about timing. Once you agree to move out by a certain date, you are expected to follow through. If you don't, the landlord may proceed with eviction. So you need to be realistic about your timeline. Your future housing depends on it. Can you find another place? Can you move within that time frame? These are very important questions to consider. Now let's discuss another key issue, waiving rights. In some agreements, you may be asked to waive certain rights. For example, the right to contest an eviction. This is a significant right to give up, or the right to make claims related to the tenancy. You need to understand exactly what you are agreeing to. Take your time, because once you sign, those terms can be binding. Now let's talk about payment. The timing of this payment is a critical detail. When will the money be paid? Will you receive payment before you move out? Always verify the timing. Will the money be handed over at the time you return the keys? After inspection? This is another timing detail to verify. These details matter. Every word in the agreement is important because you want to avoid a situation where you move out and then face delays or issues with payment. Now let's address a common misunderstanding. Some tenants believe that accepting cash for keys will automatically protect their rental history, but that depends on the terms. If an eviction case has already been filed, how that case is resolved can still matter. Now let's talk about negotiation. The first offer is not always the final offer. Consider it a starting point. Depending on the situation, there may be room to negotiate terms. You may be able to negotiate the amount, the timing, or the conditions of the move out. But again, I must emphasize that everything should be clearly documented. Now let's discuss strategy. Having a plan is key to a successful outcome. If you receive a cash for keys offer, the first step is to understand your position. Are you facing eviction? Have you received a notice? What stage are you in? Because your options may depend on exactly where you are in the process. Then evaluate the offer. Take a moment to think it through. Does it meet your needs? Does it give you enough time? Does it cover your moving costs? Because once you agree, your decision is in motion. Now let's talk about communication during this process. Keep all communication in writing. This includes emails, messages, or written agreements. Avoid relying on verbal discussions. They are difficult to prove later. Because if there is a disagreement later, written records will be important. Now let's look at the bigger picture. This perspective is important. It is a tool. It can provide a solution in certain situations because it involves giving up your tenancy in exchange for compensation. But it must be approached carefully. Every step you take is important. Not every situation will involve a cash for keys offer. Finally, let's talk about expectations. Not every situation will involve a cash for keys offer, and not every offer will be appropriate to accept. But understanding how it works can help you make an informed decision. In conclusion, if you are offered cash for keys in California, take the time to understand the terms. Do not rush. Review the details. Consider your options. Take the time you need, and make sure everything is clearly documented. This protects your interests. If you're dealing with a situation involving a potential move-out agreement or eviction, don't guess your next step. Call us at 888-888-6582. I'm Vince Davis, and we are all in this together.